Welcome viewer and welcome to Artistry. My name is Daniel Ndungu from SOS Technical Training Institute, Buruburu, Nairobi. I'll be taking you on electrical installation, and our topic for today will be on fundamentals of electricity. Electricity is a form of energy, or is a source of energy that is due to flowing electrons. Electrons are naturally occurring, and they are found in every body and from an atom. Atoms, this is where we get electrons, and in an atom we have three basic particles. We have the electrons, we have the protons, and we have the neutrons. So what happens is that an atom will have protons, neutrons, and electrons. As you can see, protons, these are particles that are positively charged. They have a positive charge. Neutrons have zero charge, and electrons assume a negative charge. The structure of an atom is just like that one of the solar system, whereby we have the sun, and then we have all the other planets orbiting around the sun. We have the same structure for an atom, and it looks like this. Whereby at the center, this is where we have the protons and neutrons. At the shells, this is where we have electrons. And electrons they are negatively charged, and they orbit around the nucleus just the same way our planets orbit around the sun. And we have orbits or shells whereby electrons revolve around the nucleus. The shells are named from the innermost to the outermost. And what happens is that all atoms they have an atomic number, and this atomic number gives the structure of the atom, in that it gives information on the number of protons and electrons. For example, copper has the atomic number for copper is 63. Not 60, 63. And the atomic number is 29. When you minus, you get that the neutrons and the protons are 34, and the protons are 29, and the neutrons are 5. So what happens is that the neutrons have no charge, but the electrons and the protons have charge. So when we come to give the number of shells, the first shell can only accommodate 2 electrons. The next shell has the ability to contain 8 electrons. So we'll have that. And that. And the other shell, the outer shell, now can contain a maximum of 18 shells, or 18 electrons rather, can get 18 electrons. Now, when you take a keen look on the atomic number, and that is the number of electrons and the number of protons, you find that there is a balance, which means that 29 is electrons is negative, and 29 is proton, it is positive. So you'll find that they cancel each other, and at that state we say that this atom is neutral. We say that the atom is neutral. It has no net charge. It has no net charge. But we know that from our understanding, we know that protons and neutrons are quite heavy and they cannot move. But what is moving naturally are the electrons. And there is a tendency that an atom can lose. An atom can lose electron or gain electrons. When an atom gains or loses an electron, then we no longer refer to it as an atom, but we call it ion. And ion is a positive, it can either be positively charged or negatively charged. So what would happen is that if we refer back to our copper here, if the copper loses 1 electron, then the net balance changes, and we are going to have a positive of 1. We are going to have a positive of 1 because there will be fewer electrons than the protons, and the balance will kind of be will not be there. So we'll have a positive charge. Or else, if this atom gains electrons, the number of electrons will be greater than the number of protons, and as such, the atom will acquire a net negative charge. So that is how electrons are naturally occurring, and we are going to see what is this that causes these electrons to move, because the movement that we are talking here we are talking about electrons moving without any change, or any change in no change in the chemical state. If it is copper, it remains copper. If it is any other metal, it still remains the other metal, but we have electrons flowing. So what would cause this? Now, back to our idea that an atom can lose or gain electron. If a body gains electrons, then it becomes negatively charged. If another body loses electrons, then it becomes positively charged. Now, there is a difference in charge if we compare these two bodies. If you have one body that has lost electrons and another one that has gained electrons, then there is a variance of the state of charge. And that variance of state of charge is known as voltage. That difference in charge is known as voltage. And this voltage is the one that is responsible for allowing or for forcing the electrons to flow. And how does it force electrons to flow? Now, from our very basics in science, we know that like bodies repel. That is quite natural. But unlike attract each other. Now, if you have one body, one that is positively charged and another one that is negatively charged, and there is a reasonable charge difference between the two, what will happen is that the body that is positively charged has a tendency of always attracting the electrons to the positive charged body so that it can minimize the charge difference. It can minimize the charge difference. And under such, you'll find that electrons will just need a path to flow from this place or this body that is positive, that is negatively charged, so that they can flow to the positively charged body, so that they can minimize the charge difference that is there. And this is the idea behind electricity. From our discussion earlier, we have seen that it is possible to have two bodies that have two different charges. That is, there is a charge difference between two bodies, and that charge difference, we have said it is known as voltage. Now, because we have seen that, or from our science, we know that unlike charges attract each other, then there is a possibility that if you have two bodies that have two different charges, one being positive and the other one being negative, and we know that like charges repel and unlike charges attract each other. So when we have such a scenario, it is possible to have electrons from the negatively charged body moving and being attracted to the positively charged body. And when we have that, this flow of electrons, we refer to it as current. We refer to it as current. The path that they take, it is known as a conductor. And because electrons are flowing so fast, then there is a chance that they are going to get opposition. And that opposition to the flow of current is known as resistance. It's known as resistance. And all these factors is what we shall be discussing in the next topic. Viewer, we have come to the end of the lesson. Your presenter was Daniel Ndungu, and stay tuned till next time.